Lee, aka Mr. Kreate Leverage, here with the Kreate Leverage podcast.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
This is the Kreate Leverage podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Lee, aka Mr. Kreate Leverage. Kreate Leverage as usual. This is the podcast where financial literacy meets social issues meets entertainment, and our ultimate goal is to uplift and inspire fallen humanity. We have a very special guest on the show today. Entrepreneur, been in the game for a long time. You guys always know that I always talk about the Chamber of Commerce. But before that, you guys already know how I do. I ask the guests, I ask the viewers, I ask the listeners, how is your mental health? Everybody know that mental health is a big issue in today's society. Drive down the street, you probably got mental health issues. Someone in your family probably got mental health issues. So we like to always bring awareness first and ask our listeners and our viewers how your mental health. Get in the comment section and let us know how your mental health is. You guys already know this is the podcast where financial literacy meets social issues meet entertainment, and our ultimate goal is to uplift and inspire fallen humanity. Great special guest today. How's your mental health?
Yeah, my mental health is on point, and I'm going to tell you why it's on point, because what I understand is that you have to treat your brain just like any other muscle. You have to prepare it, just like when you work out in the morning, you have to, stretch, make sure that everything is limber and loose. You got to do the same thing with your brain. So if that means you have to take a walk, get a quiet time, what I call my alone time or my Shaundell time, I get that first, and I get my time with the Lord, and then I press forward and keep moving. So I make sure that my mental health is where I start my day.
Got you. So this is Shaundell Newsome. You guys always hear me talk about the Chamber of Commerce. I'm all about creating leverage. And creating leverage is not just a brand, it's not just a name, it's actually a lifestyle. It's a way of life. A lot of you guys probably create leverage and don't know that you're actually creating leverage. Even the average 9-to-5 employee are creating leverage. Mm-hmm. That's their hustle. Yep. Their 9-to-5 is their business. So they are creating leverage to put them and their people in a better position the best way that they can. And I'm using it in that context as well. It's not just for the entrepreneurs that are trying to create leverage in the system. It's for the 9-to-5 person that are trying to create leverage. Sure. The hustler, the people that are trying to put them and their people in a better position in the system. Mm-hmm. So tell me about the Chamber, because I'm always talking about the Chamber on my podcast. I believe that every entrepreneur should be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And when I was in the belly of the beast, I came about the Chamber of Commerce with reading the magazine. And at this time, I wanted political power, because I understand how important political power is. Well, at the time, I understood how vital political power was going to be in my movement that I knew that I was going to go. I knew that I was going to go in a specific direction. Mm-hmm. The belly of the beast is prison. Yep. Behind enemy lines, everybody know that I've been through the struggle, know, and now I'm trying to inspire and uplift fallen humanity. Mm-hmm. The street dudes, people that are miseducated, uneducated, misguided, taught the wrong things. So I thought at the time that the Chamber of Commerce was a branch of the government. Right. But I'll let you explain. Sure.
But you know what, Kev, also I want to touch on your leverage, and I want to touch on your own testimonial. Mm-hmm. One thing that people don't realize is when you talk about the belly of the beast and you talk about leverage. So one, leverage is one of those things that gives you an advantage and how you can move forward. So, growing up in Bed-Stuy, I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Most people know it from Everybody Hates Chris or Jay-Z or Biggie. But, when you talk about leverage, you have to practice and create habits of leverage. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that for your audience, because I think people think like you just push a lever and it happens. Mm-hmm. You have to create habits of leverage. So I'm going to give it to you this way. My kids used to wrestle. Mm-hmm. And no matter how small they were or no matter how big they were, most time my kids were small like me. We were very, very small in athletics. It is all about leverage, and it's all about how you position yourself. But how do you position yourself? But you have to create habits, and you have to practice. And even like growing up in a place like Bed-Stuy, people don't realize that is somewhat, the graduation from Bed-Stuy for most of our young black men, 8 out of 10, was Spofford or Rikers Island. Most of us.
Hold on. You gotta explain to them what those two places are.
So those two places are two of the worst penal institutions in the country, right? Spofford was a juvenile facility, and Rikers Island was a prison that most people hear about or see about when they watch any of the New York shows. And so when you talk about going to those two different places, those places are where most of our people graduated. That was our Harvard, that was our Princeton, that was our Ivy League. And so my father said, look, why don't we use the same leverage that our cousins use and our family members use to get to Rikers, use that same ingenuity and innovation to go to higher places. So that's why we came with the theme of our company of doing something new. Now, how does that equate to the chamber? Because when I came to the Urban Chamber of Commerce 12 years ago, we were really in a tough place because we just came out of the Great Recession, and the chamber was struggling financially. So going back to your financial literacy point, finances for me have never really been a struggle. I'm gonna be quite honest, is because I was trained early on. My father was great at finances, and he worked in the post office. My mom was a school teacher. My father bought a brownstone in the 1970s, and we still own today in Brooklyn. So he taught us a lot of things about financial literacy. But one of the things that he taught us was discipline. And how to grow within discipline. So when it comes, and mindset, which you just talked about from politics, from a political standpoint, because really poverty is a mindset. The Urban Chamber of Commerce in your community is actually that entity that builds businesses to build your community.
Repeat that to the people one more time.
The Urban Chamber of Commerce is designed to build businesses to build your community. Every other community, we're right down the street, and in your offices, we're right down the street from Chinatown. Every city that I've been to has a Chinatown, right? Why? Because they put their principles based on the business community. We put our principles based on religion. Now, that's not a bad thing. However, you have to have a combination of faith and finances to make it work in the United States of America. You have to think about both things. And so if you're only thinking about faith and you sitting back, Lord, come pay my light bill. Lord Jesus, come and pay my rent. And look, I've been in church since I was 8 years old. I'm not making a joke of it. Even my pastor said, well, you got to put in the work. And you got to put in the discipline, and you got to put in the structure. The Lord is there to help you enhance what you already have, not give you something that you don't. That's not how prayer works, right? So people
repeat that one more time for them people, please.
Well, I'm saying, the Lord is there to enhance what you already have, not give you what you don't already have. Enhance, right? Grow.
The ability, the enhance is you have the ability. That's what you have.
Yep.
Not give you what you need. Is that what? Say that again.
Well, it's not. So the Lord will always supply your needs.
Right.
That's what the Bible says. The Lord will not give you something that you don't have. The Lord will enhance what you already have.
Okay.
So enhancement is just basically building on a foundation of what you already know. Like it's not magic, and that's what people sometimes think it is. They think it's magic. Like you don't know how to run a business, but the Lord's going to give you a business. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Right. So the Urban Chamber of Commerce is designed to be the equalizer in the community. When you want to own a business, you have to utilize the resources that already exist to help you become a solid entrepreneur. They have financial literacy classes, entrepreneurial classes, people who are mentors in the chamber who have already been successful in business. You get to surround yourself with people who can lift you to the next level. but you have to come with something. You can't just come with nothing and say, hey, can you build me up? You have to come with some foundation, and that foundation can be passion. That foundation can be drive and determination. And like you mentioned in the 9 to 5, every 9 to 5 that I had, I served in the United States Air Force for 10 years. And I always put my entrepreneurial spin on it. I always figured I have to provide value. Value is the ticket. And anybody out there who has a job and you want to, enhance your finances in your job, find the value of that company. When you find the value of that company, learn how to present that value in a way where they make you an offer that you can't refuse. What people do that I think is backwards right now is you're going to your employer saying, can you give me a raise because in my head I think I'm this great. But if you show your employer, I worked at station casinos, and I'll show you what I did is I went in there every day, an hour before my shift, and learned. I didn't know anything about gaming and hospitality. I learned about gaming and hospitality. I studied. This was before really the internet was strong. This was 1997, before everything was like that. I was reading about it, and then I started reading the investment guide, the prospectus for station casinos. And I started saying, what do these guys want? What are they trying to accomplish? What's their vision? What's their mission? What are they trying to do? And as much as I help them to do what they have to do and what they need to do, and I could bring something to the bottom line, they offered me bonuses and salary increases. I doubled my salary twice in 2 years. Working.
So you said bring value first and let them basically choose. It's like put yourself in a position to be chose.
Just like an athlete. Athletes go into it understanding that I got to get certain numbers to make it work. So when they make me an offer, there's a difference, right? You have people like Jamal Crawford who played in the league for 20 years. And Jamal Crawford was like, I remember Jamal Crawford was talking to one of the local players here who played in the league as well. And he said, hey, I want to be the best six man because I realize I'm not going to be Jordan. I'm not going to be Pippen. I'm not going to be these top 50 players, but I'm going to be the best six man I could be. Right?
Yes, sir.
So you gotta put in your mindset you're going to be the best at whatever you're doing that you can be. Dr. King put it this way: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets as Michelangelo painted, as Shakespeare wrote poetry, as Beethoven composed music. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. The problem is you gotta understand, who are you? What street sweeper are you, right? So if you're Dennis Rodman was like, I'm gonna be the best rebounder and defender in the league. I'm not going to be the best scorer in the league. So, and I know I'm using sports analogies, what my daughter always tells me, no. So let's put it in the business tense. If you are great at being a landscaper, be the best landscaper you can be. The money comes from you being the best landscaper, not your desire for money. Right?
Repeat that to them people.
The money comes from you being the best landscaper, not your desire for money. So you got to give value to someone where they go, I'm going to pay this person top dollar. So athlete, landscaper, DJs. I tell DJs that, hey, if you go into a party and you got a country and western family, and you playing hip hop, you have not satisfied the value of that family, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's what you got to think about when you're an entrepreneur and a business owner. You first got to look at, what is your gift? My gift is in communication. My gift is in marketing and communication, right?
And that's your business.
And that's my business.
Tell them about your business.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. So when I was a kid, I'm gonna tell you where it started. It started in 1982. A deacon in my church owned a business called Lou Edna Graphics, and he did the church. Remember back in the day, churches didn't have their own church programs. They had to get them from a print shop. Okay. They had to get their church programs, their obituaries, their wedding invitations, any gospel concerts and things that they were doing. They had to go to a print shop. So this guy owned a print shop. So I went in and I did graphic design for him. Now, at that time, hip hop was blowing up in 1982 in New York. So the rappers in my neighborhood were always looking for flyers and tape covers. I did tape covers by hand with calligraphy pens. So I would draw bubble letters or draw some design and put it on there, and then make copies and then put it on their tape covers so they could sell tapes out of the trunk of their car. Or I did posters and flyers so they could distribute them in the neighborhood. So fast forward to I spent 10 years in the Air Force doing drone technology, stealth technology, more like playing video games, something I did when I was a kid too. So I've been blessed to have that. Then I went into gaming and hospitality, where I got to be a marketing director for Station Casinos and be a part of the team that created that boarding pass program, which is the card that everybody uses to get points. So I was a part of that innovation. But what I learned from that whole experience, all of that, was people will pay you for anything that they have of value. So one of the biggest things that we do, SumnuMarketing, is a family-owned firm. We won the Nevada Family-Owned Business of the Year in 2015. My daughter was my first intern in 2006. Today, she's the majority owner. So that's what I wanted to do, was create generational wealth. And my granddaughter's there now at 22 years old, so she's getting to learn the business right now. So we're passing that generational wealth, which I want to tell people, wealth is a mindset. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a mindset that is freedom. For our family, it's freedom. Coming out of Bed-Stuy, we didn't want Spofford and Rikers to be our Harvard. We wanted business. So having a business is our graduation. And so what we do today is similar. We work with engineering firms, architecture firms, the city of Las Vegas, Henderson, Clark County, the state of Nevada. We do what's called grassroots outreach. So grassroots outreach is really a thing that happened even before we started. They used to hire PR firms to do pass out information in our communities and get people to come to meetings so they know about a new school going up, a new road going up, a new bridge, a new highway, a new street being constructed. So we do a lot of that kind of outreach.
So is that like the city council?
Well, the city council, so the city of Las Vegas and the city council will hire us to, if they have a major street project, like right now they have the Rancho project with the RTC. They're getting ready to redo Rancho to add more lanes and bike lanes and all that kind of stuff. So what they do is they by federal law, you have to reach out to the community, Native Americans, African Americans, low income, homeless, businesses, schools. You have to do outreach to all these people to let them know that this project is coming and get their input on how it impacts their lives.
Gotcha.
Isn't that great?
That's great. So your business is actually what?
Our business is called SumnuMarketing. So it's a playoff of our name, Newsome. So my father always said we had to do something new because our name is Newsome. So we flipped it around, and when we changed the spelling to SUMNU as opposed to Sumnu, SOMENEW.
And the chamber. And you're a board member on the chamber.
So I chair the board of directors for the Urban Chamber of Commerce. I've been on the board for 12 years. The last 5 years as chair. One of the things that I brought to the chamber that was something that they asked me to bring was that entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah, because a lot of time chambers are led by corporations, and there's a big difference between a corporation and a small business, which most of our businesses are, and most of the business in the state of Nevada, 99.2% of the businesses in the state of Nevada are small businesses. Okay. We just think because it's gaming and hospitality is everybody's a big business, but most of our 99.2% of our businesses are small businesses.
So what benefit is it for an entrepreneur to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, a number of things. One thing is we always talk about access, whether it's access to capital, access to resources. The Urban Chamber of Commerce is very big on making sure that you are connected to every resource to make you successful. If you need capital, we connect you to capital. If you need to learn more about your business, we connect you to that. If you need more research done, I've used the chamber where if you need research done in New York City, you can do that. The chamber has all of these different resources, and people who are members of the chamber just have to do just like you go to the gym. I think what happens is people come to the chamber and they say, well, I'm going to join the chamber, but they never utilize it. Just like people in the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, everybody go, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to be in the gym. I'm going to make sure I get fit. I'm going to get in shape. And then they get in there, and they go there for a few weeks, and then they done. That's what the chamber, to me, in order for you to take advantage of a chamber, you have to join a committee. If you join a committee, now you're connecting with all the same like-minded people, the folks who are actually working. And many people who have joined the committees at the chamber have learned that they've been connected to politicians. They've been connected to larger businesses. We connected 33 businesses to the MGM Resorts International, one of the largest gaming companies in the world, just because those folks stayed active and engaged in the chamber. We've connected people to the state of Nevada with our IT roundtable. There are many of our IT companies who are doing exceptionally well because of that. We've connected some of our healthcare folks with our healthcare roundtable. We've connected people in places they never thought they would be.
So the chamber is a networking community.
Yes.
Of entrepreneurs.
Yes. It's a feeding ground. It's a breeding ground. It's a growth opportunity. And you got to be willing to have some humility, right? When I first started my business 16 years ago, I actually started 18 years ago. I started going to the chamber functions in the Urban Chamber, North Las Vegas Chamber, and the Henderson Chamber. And I started just paying attention to what people were doing to be successful. So I knew what I wanted to do, but I had to look at what everybody else was doing and then kind of put it all the pieces together. I don't want to do that. I want to do that. Let me try that. Let me try that as well. But then at the same time, I was building what I call relationships. Relationships. I spell it that way too, REAL, relationships. Because when you start building relationships with people, they will not only support you, they will help you be almost like a silent business partner in helping you grow your business. And I've told my staff this the other day. In 16 years, there's people going to find this hard to believe, I've never cold called anybody. I've never asked for a contract. I've never asked for an opportunity, because building those solid relationships the first 2 to 3 years, people are just calling me up. Hey, Shaundell, I got this for you. Hey, Shaundell. Because if people know what you do and they like you and they trust you, they sell the business for you. That's how it works. That's people ask me, like, what's the secret of success? That's it. Relationships.
That's my first time hearing that.
Really?
But that concept, I live by that concept. I practice that concept. I believe that if you nurture the relationship into a real relationship, the rest is, the sky is the limit. Your work, your referrals will be coming in through the email while you sleep.
Exactly.
And that's the beautiful part of it. And this is a financial literacy podcast, and our ultimate goal is to inspire and uplift fallen humanity. So what we do is we bring entrepreneurs on here, like yourself, with a specific expertise, to give the viewers, the listeners, some insight, give them some inspiration, give them a different mindset, give them a different experience. And that's exactly what you did. Like I said, I always talk about the Chamber of Commerce, and I wanted to bring someone on here that was in the belly of the beast of it. So when you contacted me, it was perfect for me to invite you, for you to come and explain to the people what it is that they need to know. Because since I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce, I've nurtured relationships, and I've monetized those relationships. Of course, we need the real relationships. However, that is going to put food on the table.
Yep. No, I agree, and it always does. Like when you have those, when you think about, like you said, growing up in New York, you learn how to hustle at an early age. But going back to the hip hop game, look how many people have learned not only how to hustle, but they build the relationships, because everybody brings something to the table. So your producers, your DJs, your MCs, your graffiti artists, your dancers, everybody was bringing something to the table. What I brought to the table was flyers and and communication materials. So like my friend Craig Knight at KCP, the general manager, he always says, I was actually social media before it was social media, right? So I had to get the word out, do all those things. And he was, he grew up in the Bronx at that time too. So he knows back then that's how we got the word out. So you fast forward to today, what it boils down to is you need all of these relationships to build a powerful business. So I teach a class called Next Level, and it's sponsored by the Nevada Small Business Development Centers. And in the 15 weeks, I tell people, this is where you build your network. Now, you always need clients and customers, but you also need a support system that's going to support what you're doing. So I build my accounting team, my legal team, my banking team, my investment team, my business team, my sales force. I build all of that stuff, and that's how you build a business without you having to run around and keep trying to hustle all the time, because your hustle should become a real business. Right? At some point, you don't have to run out and go to every meeting and be everywhere. Your reputation and your brand should speak for itself. So that's what we specialize in more than anything else. Is, to me, branding is not just your logo and your picture and your colors. It's about the relationships that you build. Because every day, Starbucks can wake up every morning and go, I know how many customers I'm going to have today. And McDonald's does the same thing. And where I used to work, Station Casinos, they wake up every morning knowing how many customers they're going to have. So when you build the relationships through a chamber, you know how much business you're going to have.
What does an individual entrepreneur has to do to become a member of the chamber?
You have to join. First, you have to join, make that first investment. And look, some people, it's so funny because sometimes people say, well, how much does it cost? And I said, listen, don't ever look at cost when it comes to investment. Investment and cost are two different things. A cost is a line item that you're gonna pay, and you're not really expecting nothing there. But an investment, you're expecting the ROI. So how do you do it? You make your investment into the chamber at whatever sponsorship level. It could be as low as $500 a year.
Slow. We gotta slow down for just 1 second.
Yeah.
So ROI is a return on investment.
There you
just
go.
To make sure that the people.
Yeah. So when you talk about that financial literacy part, right? You look at a return on investment means that you're not just necessarily always going to get money. Here's what you're going to get. To me, the best value that you can get is a relationship, because a relationship can lead to revenue, but revenue cannot lead to a relationship. Right. So you take a relationship, and you notice, like, if you have a relationship with a person, they expand your universe so wide that you can actually do more things than you ever imagined, and that leads to revenue. It's what you're talking about. How do you monetize it? That's how you monetize it, because you have to work and work. Trust me. Don't. And I'll tell you, because some of the people I mentor in the chamber, I give them this all the time. You have to determine when you have certain meetings. Like, I had a meeting with a group with a new business coming in town. They said, "Hey, Shaundell, we'll pay you $1,000 if you come to speak to our executives." And I researched the company. I looked at the company. I said, "No, I'm not going to charge them $1,000." I told them, "You know what? Buy my book, 12 Steps of Marketing." I have a book called The 12 Steps of Marketing. I said, "You guys buy my book. I'll come out and do my presentation." When I left the presentation, they said, "We want to meet with you to do business with you on 3 line items that you do." So if I would have took that $1,000, it would have been a transaction. Since I did not charge them the $1,000, I looked at the big picture. I got 3 lines of business that could probably be about $150,000 to $200,000. And how did I do that?
Remember this. Remember what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Because I always preach, so to say, that the position is more important than money.
Yes.
So you look past the money and aim at the position.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right on. And that's strategy. That's playing chess and not checkers, because that's what we do in SumnuMarketing. I'm like, you play chess. That's what I try to tell people, play chess, not checkers. So playing checkers, I would have took the $1,000. Right? So I would have spent the $1,000 this weekend. Right? But when I saw the positioning and the opportunity, I said, I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna do my presentation. Did my presentation. They said, look, we got 3 things we want to work with you on. And I said, okay. So now they say, okay, about
hold on 1 second. We got to pay the bills. We're going to
Okay.
go to a commercial. Shout out to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. This is the Create Leverage Podcast, and we'll be right back.
Awesome.
This is the Create Leverage Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Lee, a.k.a. Mr. Create Leverage. You guys already know. This is the podcast where financial literacy meets social issues meets entertainment, and our ultimate goal is to uplift and inspire following humanity. We have to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Moxie Ultra Lounge, Las Vegas, Nevada. We need for you guys to go out and support them. You can follow them on Instagram at Moxie Ultra Lounge LV. Even if you guys don't go to the restaurant, repost something. If you guys appreciate this content, this is how the bills get paid. You guys already know. The information is free. This executive suite is not free. Our other sponsor, Create Leverage Clothing. We need for you guys to go out and support Create Leverage Clothing. Let the man get back to work. Go ahead, OG.
Right on, brother. So and I love like what you was talking about when you talk about how financial literacy meets.
When financial literacy meets social issues, when social issues meets entertainment, and our ultimate goal is to uplift and inspire fallen humanity.
Right. So people always ask us about that, like how does the chamber impact the social issues of the community, right? So go back to what I talked about, like building businesses to build our community. Building businesses is really how you create jobs. Small businesses become medium-sized, then become large-sized, and hire and grow people. But it also breeds more entrepreneurs. It helps to grow more entrepreneurs. So through the chamber, one of the things that we thought was real important is making sure that our businesses have opportunities to grow. They need to understand that we're there to build you so that you're in a position so that you can grow to a different level. And so when you go into the chamber, have a plan. Have a plan, a 1, 3, 5 year plan. Don't go in and say, I just want to hit this. If I don't get this, I'm done. Go in with a 1, 3, 5 year plan. Just like you building your body or you building anything else, you got to go in with a plan. You got to go in thinking about what it is you're trying to do. Don't just go in and say, well, I'm just going to go join the chamber and then I'm going to go to some breakfast, I'm going to go to some lunch, I'm going to talk to some people and then grab some business cards. Go in with a strategy, go in with a plan. Every event that I go to, I sit at a table with people who I don't know. Because then I can find out more and probably and hopefully build my network. And so I try my best to make sure that I meet other people. And I tell people all the time, hey, I know you already. Me and you can grab a cup of coffee already. Let me go talk to this person. And once you start building that network and you got thousands of people in your network who know, like, and trust you, your business becomes easier. It becomes much easier.
Most definitely. So, like I said, this is a financial literacy podcast, and we are trying to inspire people to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We are trying to inspire people to have multiple sources of income, because, like I always say, one of anything is too close to none, and that's a big fact.
Yes.
I don't have to do the math for you. It's simple math. So, the Chamber of Commerce. I like the Chamber of Commerce. Not only do I like the Chamber of Commerce, I love the Chamber of Commerce.
Great.
I have a saying, your net worth increases your net's worth.
Yeah.
You have to network and meet different people.
Yep.
Harvest those relationships. When I go to the Chamber of Commerce events, I meet people, I find out what it is that they do, and I see if it's something that we can collaborate on. The events are only for a certain amount of time. So I go in and I have a strategy. I cannot sit and talk for no 45 minutes. Now I do it respectfully, but I'm here on a mission. So if I'm in this lane and you're in this lane, not to say that I won't harvest the relationship and see where it can go, but my time is limited, and these people are only here for a certain amount of time. So,
right.
I always say, I always talk about the Chamber of Commerce on this show, And I encourage people that want to really create leverage in their life to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce, because there's levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're really trying to elevate and take it to the next level and create generational wealth and do something different than the norm in your family, then you have to do something different. You can't expect different results doing the same thing.
Right.
So I encourage, man, come go to the Chamber of Commerce, go to the chamber, come to the chamber, come,
Yeah.
go. And so is it chamber in every community, I mean in every city, or is it just?
You know what? They every city has their different chambers. Like we are part of the U.S. Black Chamber Network. So the Urban Chamber is really focused on small minority communities, but in particular, really, really strong in Black communities. And making sure, one of the things is with the Urban Chambers, because some people get confused, because a lot of people say, well, y'all not Black enough. Well, we're Black. As much as we need to be, and that's what people don't understand. We are Black, but the one thing that they confuse us with is the connection is business. So when you talk about business, and I always mess people up with this, because they say, well, Shaundell, why we not supporting Black businesses? We are supporting Black businesses. What we're doing is preparing Black businesses to sell to everybody. Because when you go down Chinatown, you don't see just Chinese people sitting and eating in these restaurants and buying these clothes and buying the jewelry and doing all that. What do you see, right? So I try to tell them all the time, stop trying to figure out how you're going to sell just to our folks. You're going to sell to our folks, but you also got to know how to sell to others. That's what the key is. The key is taking a page out of everybody else's book, right? Italian people don't even eat pizza, but they sell pizza to us, right? So we got to understand that we're helping you build your business so that you can sell to everybody. Everybody needs something that you can sell, and that's why I utilize like our IT roundtable, our healthcare roundtable, and all the other companies that we support. Even like when Grits Cafe, I remember when Grits first opened, and Trina and I were talking about it. She's like, people in the neighborhood are support. I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. If people from everywhere else come, people in the neighborhood are gonna come. But if you expect people in the neighborhood to come, they're not gonna come unless everybody else is coming. Guess what she got? She got people getting out of the cab at the airport. And I was just there like a couple of months ago when I was there. People got right out of the cab, came to Grits Cafe because they wanted to eat some food on the west side. So we got to have that mentality versus I just want to sell just to get by. Like you said, that's the other thing. Something new is, like you said, doing something different. My father said do something new all the time. Grow and build out of what is take something and build it out of nothing. And to me, if we want to rebuild a Black Wall Street, let's say the historic West Side, we want it to be a Black Wall Street, it needs to become an attraction, just like the city is an attraction. You have to build the attraction. And that's all because everybody's getting stuck with, I'm going to sell it to Shaundell, I'm going to sell it to this person. But we're all trying to sell it to somebody bigger than that. We can't starve ourselves by always trying to sell to each other. Because think about it, Steve Jobs, Gates, even as Elon Musk and them guys that just bought, Twitter, those guys are not selling just to one group of people.
They are thinking about commerce.
Yes, commerce first. That's what we say.
They're thinking about the exchange of goods or a service.
Yes.
And a lot of people have the wrong mindset because they were taught wrong. That's why this podcast, I want to, it's for the street dudes.
Yep.
It's for the miseducated people, the uneducated people, the people that were tricked. All those different factors are mindsets. So you have to think commerce, the exchange of goods and services for equal or greater value. That's how you need to come into the game. You have to think like they think. Like the gentleman said, the Chinese, they don't just sell to the Chinese. The Italian, they might not even eat pizza.
Right.
They don't just sell.
Right. And keeping it 100, right? And here's the thing for my folks. Look, like I said, I grew up in Bed-Stuy. I grew up in this, and my father used to say this because he started thinking about it hard. He said, you know what? What I don't understand is why all the cats in our neighborhood going to Rikers doing this, and the Colombians and all other people, they getting to go back to their country and do what they did before. I got a good friend live three doors down. And he was doing great, man, for about 20 years until finally the feds got him, right? And my father kept saying, and we kept saying this over and over, well, what happened to the guy that was feeding him the guns and drugs? They got to go back to where they live, start all over again, spend no time in prison. And that's what my father was saying, like, why are we always caught up in the rat race? And we selling to our own folks. We selling to the people in our neighborhoods, and so they get us double time. They get our hero, the guy in the neighborhood. Everybody loved him, you know. And then at the same time, they getting all these people hooked on drugs and everything and killing the next generation. And I'm not. And listen, fellas, I know we had to do what we had to do because I grew up in the neighborhood. I understood. Hey, we like you said, we were misguided, miseducated. We were given a golden cow that didn't exist, and then when they were done using us, they go, okay, I'm gonna put them away, and I'm gonna humble them, bring them back, and these same people. And I read the story about my partner. I'm like, how did the guy from Colombia get off?
Oh, shit.
Why was he not put in jail? I didn't understand none of that. And then I got a chance to be a supervisor at the federal prison up in Nellis. And these guys were telling me stories. I'm like, see, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how you're in here and the person that supplied you with everything is out free.